let's step to the top of the mat with hands at heart center, slowing the breath down, allowing it to deepen. And then we'll bend knees, reach arms high for Utkatasana before Garuda, eagle pose, crossing left leg over right, left arm under right. Crouch low but reach high. Draw energy into your midline before you tip forward for soaring eagle pose. We'll slowly step the left foot all the way back with hands to the mat, rocking forward and back, making this yours just to dig into your legs and build heat there. And we'll place the left knee down on the mat and sweep our arms up high for a single breath in Anjaneya. And then exhale to bow over your right leg, flexing that foot and using your exhales to draw your chin farther down. And stay so connected to our breathing. We'll tuck the back toes under and wave from leg to leg, bending a knee at a time through wide-legged pose. Really, again, just make this yours. We're building heat for our adductors. There's no wrong way to do it as long as you're moving and breathing. And we'll walk our hands to front left foot, set the back knee down, and sweep our arms up for Anjaneya on this side. Same sequence. Exhale. Bow over a straight left leg, flexing your foot. Inhale to find length and space at your chest. Exhaling to dig deeper down. Tuck your back toes and rock forward and back just as you did on the opposite side. Now we're going in reverse, opening up the right hip flexor and enjoying these movements. And eventually cross your right leg over your bent left leg for Garudasana on the left foot. Right arm underneath left. Crouch low but reach high. Draw energy into your core. And then curl forward, soaring eagle pose. You can imagine the chaos beneath you as you soar right over the landscape. And just this time, place your hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Digging your heels heavily into the mat and enjoying this arrival. Come onto toes and wave forward for plank pose. Exhale to lower in your way, maybe chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, maybe back to chaturanga before downward facing dog. Walk it forward. Stretch your heart forward. And then exhale, bow Uttanasana. We'll do that again. Inhale, heart forward, lengthen. Exhale, bow deeply, Uttanasana. And again, inhale, chest forward. Exhale, bow deeply down. Bend your knees, sweep your arms high. We'll do this series again, shifting weight now to your left foot. Cross your right leg over, right arm under, Garudasana. Now we know where we're going, so we're better able to free ourselves up for focus on the breath. Enjoying the experience. We'll step the right foot back, set your fingers down, and rock and sway forward and back. And find the joy in the movements. And then set your back knee down, sweep your arms up, Anjaneya, as deep or shallow as feels right. And then exhale, bow deeply over your left leg, straighten it out, flex the foot. Use your breath to wave down the leg. warming ourselves up, preparing for some splits later. Tuck your back toes, walk over to wide legs. Just going to wave from leg to leg, bending a knee at a time. Any arms will do. This can be deep or shallow, it's yours. Just awaken your legs. Walking over to frame your right foot, let's set the left knee down and sweep arms up again for Anjaneya, just glorious inhale. And then exhale to bow over your right leg. Flex that foot. Finding more and more length each time we do this. Tuck the back toes, waving now forward and back. And then shifting weight onto your right foot, find Garudasana here. Cross your left leg over your right leg. Can you keep control as you do it? Left arm underneath, crouch low but reach high. Tip forward, soar over your landscape. Find your fluid breath. And then step back, downward facing dog. Wave forward, plank pose, look forward, firm belly. Exhale, lower your way. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, back to Chaturanga, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Stretch your right leg high, keeping it straight and powerful. We'll roll the right knee toward our nose and place the foot between our hands, grounding the back heel to come back for Peaceful Warrior. We'll add Gomukhasana arms though, and then straighten out the right leg. Stretching through the right side body and pressing against the back of your heart to lift and expand through your chest. Enjoy the feeling. And making so much space at the chest. And we'll open arms wide, reach down for Utthita Trikonasana. Right fingers wherever you find them. Wrapping your left arm around your low back. Maybe finding a bind there, and then reaching the right arm forward to about 3 o'clock. A straight right arm. So much energy there as you spin your chest toward the sky and plug your left shoulder back. And fold over the right leg and suck it back a few inches before we find rotated triangle. Find length at the left side body first, and then find the rotation that suits you. Keeping your pelvis engaged, the left pelvis lifted, the right hip moving back, and the chest widening. Always returning to breathing. And we'll bow over the right leg. And then find standing splits. Right foot stays planted, left leg lifts long. You might try this variation, taking your right arm behind your calf and hooking your fingers around your left arm. Keep really active through your top leg, active even through the top foot. And we'll plant our hands, step the right foot back a little ways, look forward as you prepare for a few hops or perhaps a handstand. Play with it, and then take a vinyasa your way. Clearing it out and finding downward facing dog. On the second side, lifting the left leg, strong and active. Roll your knee towards your nose, plant your foot, ground your back heel, and find Peaceful Warrior. But then from Peaceful Warrior, we'll get Gomukh arms. Left fingers grab right, we'll straighten the left leg and reach back for a reverse triangle pose. Pressing your hands against the back of your heart in order to lift it as though it's on a pedestal. You can physically expand your chest space by pressing against the back of your chest. Big, wide breaths to your heart. Enjoy the feeling. And the arms open wide, reach down for Trikonasana. Left fingers where they land, right arm stretching high to start, and then wrapping the right arm around your low back. Find your waist or maybe even your thigh, and reach your left arm forward, 9 o'clock. Straighten it out, firm it up. Spin your chest toward the sky as you plug your right shoulder back in space, steadying the breath. From Trikonasana, unravel, folding over your left leg and sucking it back a little bit so that you can find a rotated triangle. Right hand outside your left foot, left arm reaching high to the sky. Keep engaged through your pelvis, lifting up on the right hip, tucking the left hip back, making ever more space at your chest. And find the work and also the softness. And bowing over the left leg then, and finding standing split. Left foot stays planted, right leg lifts up high, keeping your right leg engaged. Fire up even your foot. If you like the arm variation, left arm wraps around the calf muscle, fingers grab hold of the right forearm. Plant your hands, step the left foot back a little bit. Peek forward, strong, straight arms, a fiery right foot and pelvis square as you take a few hops here. Playing with the handstand, maybe finding a handstand. And then in time, clearing it out. Chaturanga, upward facing, and downward facing. Let's walk our hands back to our feet now. And then we'll just wrap our arms right around the calf muscles. I'm grabbing my temples for a second just to lengthen the neck. Use this to slow your breathing and really make space at your hamstrings. And we'll release, walk the hands back to the top. Find downward facing dog. And then move your elbows to the mat. Interlace your fingers around the back of your head, and we'll take a headstand prep pose or possibly headstand, full headstand. And let's feel the verticality of our body in headstand if we do end up finding it. The action, the activity, fireness in our legs, and even out through our toes, so that the balls of your feet are reaching toward the sky. The momentum, the feeling is a general upward lift. And take it slowly down, feeling connected all the way. And maybe finding a forearm chaturanga or forearm plank. I'm pausing here to tuck my belly a little bit, tuck the tail, almost like a mini cat-cow with the lower body. These subtle movements before rolling over to the left side elbow for side plank. Or maybe the side plank variation, it's a half of a bow, grabbing hold of the right foot or ankle, kicking back. Take it where it can go. And grab hold of the right toes, really just to practice a Hanuman. So you can get this any way you need to. Stamp your foot down, take half Hanumanasana. Use blocks or a bolster, maybe for full Hanumanasana practice. If you're in or you're close to being in, at least for me, I like to rock a little bit side to side. It's just making sure that I'm targeting the medial side of my hamstrings, the lateral side of my hamstrings, and then right behind the leg. I'm going to lift up for a quick heart opening, luxuriating where I can. Planting your hands, tucking the back toes, and then sweeping the right leg up. Taking a Vinyasa flow now, any way you like to, step, hop, handstand, whatever suits your practice today. Clearing out. And finding downward facing dog. From down dog, set knees down, set elbows down, interlace fingers, Shirshasana A, headstand practice, or full headstand. And if you're a little bit newer to the headstand practice, you might try trying to tilt in instead of kick in. And we'll lower the same way out to a forearm plank if possible. Otherwise, step out, come right onto your forearms. And pause to spread the collarbone, lift the navel, and then eventually rock over to the right side for a modified Vashisthasana. Maybe this variation, if you can, kick your leg back, grab hold of your foot. And eventually this is headed toward Hanumanasana practice, full split practice. So roll in, find your way in any way that suits you, and spend a handful of breaths at your depth. Enjoy it, and find a comfortable edge, the pleasure in the work, and never straight up pain. If you like, you tuck your back toes so that you can send your right hip a little farther forward just to square off your hips. Makes a more intense stretch. Finding a heart opening if possible. Just broaden through your chest in any way you can. Take this full and glorious breath, and then plant your hands. We'll slide up for downward facing dog, sweeping the left leg high. And then an optional vinyasa any way you like. Maybe a step through, hop through, even handstand through. Your playtime. If you do stick your handstand, you can play with it. You can even pause this, bring it to the wall for a second. I just mess around with lotus, but I don't last very long. You can always practice your hops. Maybe you're in child's pose now, and really make it your practice. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Walking hands back again, all the way to your feet. Take a bow for Uttanasana. I'm shaking out wrists and then planting hands right underneath my feet. I like to get as high as I possibly can up on not just my wrist crease, it's almost like I'm stepping on my forearms so that I can press my toes right into my forearms, giving myself a little massage, a little relief from being on my hands so often. And let's release and walk the hands back to the top of the mat. I'm going to stretch my right leg high and do a hop switch so that I kick up into the air, switch my legs, the right foot lands between my hands and the left foot lands heel down at the back of my mat. Going all the way up into peaceful warrior and then finding side angle pose with wild hair. Any variation that suits you. Maybe bound variation, lifting up on your heart as much as you can, spinning your chest toward the sky. Powerful legs. I'm going to peek down and head toward Bird of Paradise pose, hopping the left foot forward to balance on it, and finding a drishti point, focal point, in order to balance, standing up and possibly straightening out your right leg over to the side. Keep as much height as you can from in your left leg, or lift in your left leg, lift through your heart, stand tall. I'm going to set it down, place the right foot down, left leg back for bound lizard. A little different from side angle in that my hips are squared, left hip is rolling down, right hip tucking back, and my shoulder girdle is fairly parallel, the chest down. I'm going to plant hands and then move from Kundanyasana to play, setting the left knee down for Ardha Matsyendrasana, twisting to the right, hooking left elbow outside right thigh. You can take this as a breather. Enjoy the spinal twist. And a little counter twist. And then stepping into a fallen tree. It's like a warrior three that tipped over, hands at your heart. You want a straight right leg and the left hip to roll down a little bit. This is very quickly going to become a forearm stand practice and play. So of course, if you like, you can pause it and work on your forearm stand. I like to teach lifting one leg and hugging the bottom leg knee into your chest when you're first starting this pose. If you get in with ease, maybe you try coming out through baby Bakasana like I just did, and then step or hop it back to another forearm plank. Straightening both arms, lifting the hips up high. For downward facing dog, and we'll take a breather by walking our hands all the way back, stretching the heart forward, and then taking hold of yogi toe lock, folding all the way down. And then we'll get ready for second side, walking the hands back to the top of the mat. Stretching the left leg high, but keeping the hip in line with the right hip. Look forward, maybe do this hop switch I did, but somehow, some way, the left foot will land between the hands, back heel grounds, and we find peaceful warrior. Stretch back, reach back, enjoy it. Into side angle pose. You can keep your fingers down, or maybe find a bind. Wherever you are, ground heavily through your legs. Spin your chest up toward the sky and commit to space making right there at your heart center. Full breaths. This will become bird of paradise as we inch the right foot forward, step it forward, ground it down, and then lift your left leg up high, finding your focal point as soon as you can. Keep your hips fairly square, your heart lifting, and maybe you can straighten your left leg out to the side. You can always just grab your left inner knee if the bind isn't working for you. But commit to height through your leg, lift in your heart. And then as we set it down, we'll move into a bound lizard if that's possible. Left foot forward, right foot back. Hip square, chest pretty square, looking forward. So this will become Kundanyasana playtime a little bit, from Kundanyasana to Ardha Matsyendrasana. So if this is a newer pose to you, of course, take some time to play with it. You don't have to come into the full pose either. Set the right knee down and twist out of it, cross the left foot over, and then twist to your left, hooking your right elbow outside your left knee. Just savoring the transitions. Savoring every breath if we can. And we'll take a counter twist. Shifting weight onto your left foot for fallen tree again. Keeping your hips square, your right leg powerful all the way out through your foot, and your hands at your heart. Long locked left leg if you can as well. And this again very quickly will become a forearm stand practice. So any way you can, set your forearms down parallel to one another. Elbows are right underneath your shoulders. I think it helps to peek forward and then kick up. If you're just starting, take one leg and keep it low. So it's really just like you're trying to bounce up and hover your bottom foot a little bit. That'll help you catch control. Once you're up, if there's anything you'd like to play with, I love playing with the lotuses, although the real work doesn't happen until you start to try to lower the lotus. It pulls it back into the core and irons out the back bend a little bit. Ooh. Making your way back to downward facing dog. You might press your heart toward the earth. Finding a little back bend, a stretch for your triceps, your armpits, your lats. Feels fantastic. Keep your arm bones lifting up in space and plenty of weight at your fingertips. And we'll step the right foot through. Find a little martial artist lunge. Right knee crouching low, left leg long, locked, and the foot will be flexed. You can open your arms wide or find a bind here. It's up to you. If you find your bind, peek up over your left shoulder. Get spacious through your heart, but keep your belly moving back. And we'll plant our hands and we'll walk through wide legs. And then work on a middle split, seeing how far out you can take your feet. Maybe you can come down onto your forearms and relax. But we'll take a handful of breaths at whatever depth you find. And then plant your hands, scoot out of it. Take your feet together. And then pause at about slightly wider than your rib cage's width apart. Bend your knees and try to take your torso right through your legs. We're headed toward insect pose if you're familiar with it. Wrapping your arms up and behind your hamstrings. And you can either try to interlace your fingers at your low back or maybe just work toward grabbing hold of your thighs or glutes. And once you're in, straighten your legs out. This is insect, and you can stay right here and work it, or you can take your hands back and take the Titibhasana arm balance that's possible right from it, with fingers facing forward and feet really active. I'm just going to step out of it, walk over to frame the right foot, sweep the right leg up and back, and then cross my ankle over left to take a vinyasa here. This feels lovely for my low back. Back to downward facing dog. Stepping the left foot through. Find a martial artist lunge eventually over at the left knee. Crouching low with the right leg nice and long, the foot flexed. You can take your left arm in front of your shin, maybe open your arms wide, or possibly find a bind, your fingers grabbing each other, or left hand grabs right wrist. Peeking up and over your right shoulder. Let heat happen. And to release, plant your hands, moving back toward a wide-legged fold. This time, interlacing fingers behind and finding a rotator cuff opening. Bowing deeply down, a few breaths. Chest forward, fingertips to the mat. We'll walk over to frame the left foot now. And then kick this leg up and back, crossing the ankle over your right ankle for an optional vinyasa this way if it feels okay to you. And back at downward facing dog, resituate. Come on to toes and spring or step to the top of the mat. Coming right into a twisted low seat, high up on your toes. Hook your right elbow around your left thigh and then take any arm variations that feel appropriate. Maybe even finding like a half bind, wrapping your left arm around. This is warm up in preparation for side crow. We'll come through the middle, tuck your chin, round your spine. And then up on toes again, take your twist to the right. Left elbow hooking around right thigh, maybe hands into your heart. You can spread your arms open wide, or you can even find this half bind, wrapping your right arm around your low back. Keep your spine long. Breathe into your twist, and opening the spine up for revolved crow. Coming back through center, let's just plop down, roll back right into plow pose. You can roll your shoulder blades together, take hold of your back and lift your legs up high to the sky for shoulder stand. And your shoulder stand can look like absolutely anything. You can move your legs around, you can play with it like I am, taking one arm at a time up across my body, trying to straighten out. firing up the feet, firing up the legs, just appreciating being upside down. Of course, you could do Baddha Konasana legs, lotus legs, whatever occurs to you. Enjoy it. And then we'll slowly lower. And I'm going to come right out into a bridge pose. And you could always just roll out, replant your feet, come right into bridge. But I like trying to take both feet down at the same time, right from bridge to wheel. I like to plant my head so I can resituate my hands, walk them in a little closer, and then lift. And the first wheel I love is just a chance to lengthen my arms, feel the inner arms activate, warm into the back bend, breathe right into my wide open heart. And then you could come down, you could stand up, make this your practice. We have a few more back bends coming. After standing up, I like to just reach tall, fold forward. But if you're on your back, you can hug your knees into your chest or windshield wipe your knees. If you're lying down, you can roll back up and come back to downward dog. I'm just going to activate the core again before I come into wheel by trying an L-seat hop. Spring forward, keep straight legs for a pike hop, and just take it where it wants to go. Folding forward, crouching down low, have a seat, and roll onto your back again. All right, we have 2 total wheels coming up and some more pike hopping. Make it absolutely your practice. So I'm coming into a second wheel. The second one, I like to, same thing, just lengthen my arms, breathe through my heart, make the space where I can find it, and maybe try walking my heels in closer to my hands closer to my heels. Trying to make my neck comfortable, and there I go rolling up. You can practice your roll up, of course, or you can come down onto your back, hug your knees into your chest, find happy baby. Make it feel like the medicine your lower back needs. Once I stand up again, I just like to fold, loosen out, breathe to my kidneys, make space. And come back to downward facing dog and set up for a couple more pike hops, and you're about to see me fall completely out a couple times. Take some time to set up. Get strong straight arms, activate the fingertips, look forward, crouch down deeply, and then spring. Hips up over chin, chin up over wrists. As high up as you can with legs straight, and I just get overeager and I go too far. But it's all practice. Practice, practice. Setting up for a second one. I end up practicing pike hops here for 2 more minutes. So if you want to just hop into little cannonball hops, like hugging your knees into your chest, that helps you gain handstand control if the straight legs isn't working. Straight legs is a quick way to develop strength. I like to walk the toes in just a little bit, come high up onto them, squeeze my arm bones together, crouch low, peek forward, and then take it as high up as I can. And maybe fall completely out. Take what you need in between, and dangle for forward fold, and then set up for the next one. Downward facing dog, strong straight arms, peek forward, crouch low, hop onto tippy toes, straight legs. Do your best. It's all practice, it all helps. And again, bending knees, stepping or hopping. Maybe finding some control. Ooh. Okay. Last one before a drop back here. Drop back option. If drop backs are not in your, I'm stepping or hopping top of the mat, just trying to gain control, slow myself down, activate the core. If drop backs are not in your practice, then Make it yours, make it yours, make it yours. You can start on your back, come back into wheel. If wheel's not working anymore, take a bridge. If even bridge is tuckering you out, take a block under your sacrum. But take it slow, honor your back's messages. Your body is wise. A little drop back play. If you're able, kick it over. And we'll meet in child's pose. It's about a 10-second child's pose. Soften. And then come back to downward facing dog. Sweeping the right leg high, bend this knee, and it can stay right here, or if you're up for it, flip it all the way over. Wild thing, expand into the space, and then step your right foot slowly forward. Ever so slowly, control, control, control. Left knee down, sweep your left arm up and back, and then hook your left elbow around the outside of the right thigh, hands into your heart. This is preparation for side crow, and here we go, stepping left foot forward. Take your hands over to the side like chaturanga arms, trying to balance your right thigh and your left elbow. Now, if you want a little cheat, you can hug your right elbow into your right waistline. But if you want to take it a step farther, try reaching your right arm wide to the side and straightening it out. Come to the center, round. You crouch really low, we'll dive forward, Uttanasana. And then find chaturanga. Clear it out. Meeting at downward facing dog. Sweeping your left leg high. Bend this knee, it could stay right here unless you love Kamatkarasana, the ecstatic opening of the enraptured heart. Wild thing. And then slowly roll out. Step your left foot with as much control as you possibly can forward on the mat. In time, setting the back knee down, sweeping the right arm up, twist to your left, and then hook your right elbow in preparation for side crow pose. And then peek down, tuck your back toes, hop them to meet the left. Crouch and low. The deeper you twist into this, the easier it is. You'll tip onto your hands out to the side, try chaturangaing your arms. Core activation, belly lock, mula bandha, heels up as high as they can be, peeking forward, not crouching low. If you want the variation, try to straighten your left arm out. If that's not working at all, make your left elbow a kickstand for your waist. And you can always, of course, pause. Crouching, finding Utkatasana, diving down, Uttanasana. Inhale the flat back, and then this time I'm going to just tip right into Dandasana pose. You can get there any way you need to, finding Paschimottanasana, yet more length for your hamstrings, yet more space for your spine. And we'll be here for 30 seconds. Let your breathing guide the space you're creating. And we'll sit slowly up, preparing for half hero, bending the left knee, heel next to the hip. Flex your right foot, and then bow, belly between your thighs. A couple nice breaths. And then we'll sit up with it. Bending the right knee into half lotus if that's possible. If it's not, right heel into the groin is perfectly good. And we'll twist to our right, maybe left hand on the right knee. If you can, find your bind, but we'll all keep the spine lifted, long, and the heart wide. And releasing. Hug your right knee in. We're headed toward compass pose, taking the right leg up as high onto your right shoulder as you possibly can, gripping the right foot with your left hand and opening your chest, doing the best you can. And this is going to look really different for everyone. and all you're trying to do is straighten your right leg out to the side. So if this is agony for you, close your eyes and keep your knee really bent. Just find where the work is for you. I'm going to try Ashtavakrasana to Kundanyasana play. From Ashta to Kundanyasana, 2, and then back and forth 3 times. I'll do it on both sides. Keep breathing. If you're trying it, you can always skip this part. I'm headed toward another 30-second Paschimottanasana forward fold, so we can just meet there. Ten more seconds. And then we'll prepare to sit up and set up for the second side, leaning to the left for a half hero with the right knee bent this time. Get even through your sitting bones, sit tall, and then bow forward with your belly between your thighs. Enjoy this for about 4 long, slow breaths. I stay longer on my left side because it's a little bit tighter. And then we'll sit up, preparing either for left foot in half lotus or left heel into the groin. Twisting to our left now, right hand to the left knee, possibly a bind, but it's not important. What's important is the twist, the breath, the length of the spine, and the openness through the heart. Work where there's work, but soften where there doesn't need to be. And then take a little counter twist, setting up now for compass pose, hugging the left knee in, wrapping this leg up onto the left arm or maybe even shoulder. Right hand crosses over the top of the foot, and then straighten your left leg out wide to the side if that's possible. If you can, send your chest and head right through this hole you've created underneath your right tricep. Breathe, expand, make space. Wherever you are, you're making space. So enjoy this for as long as you want. I'm going to do that little play again from Ashtavakrasana to Kundanyasana. Maybe just crossing right ankle over left ankle, lifting up chaturanga arms, straight legs, and then unhooking the right knee. If you want to try this, you're getting pretty close. This is my bad side. It's really all in Mula Bandha, feeding Mula Bandha to Uddiyana Bandha. So there's like this fire at your core. It's almost like someone's reaching down and lifting you up by your belly button right through your back body. And we'll meet in Baddha Konasana. Folding over our legs for a little over 20 seconds. And as we sit up, we'll straighten the right leg. It's though it's Janu Shirshasana, but we're going to open it up and take a modified version, laying the right side body down the right leg, lifting the left arm up, possibly touching the toes, but it doesn't have to be about that at all. Is it possible to spin your heart toward the sky and make space there? Find your freedom wherever it is. And come slowly up. And switch sides. Start like Janu Shirshasana, knee wide open, left side body lies down, left leg, right arm up and across your ear line. Instead of the hamstring opening, I like to think of it as a heart opening. Right shoulder plugging back, heart spinning open, right shoulder blade tucking into my spine. And then again, I'll spend a little longer on the left side just because I'm trying to open it up. Just a couple more breaths. And then making our way up for wide legs. Sitting up tall, activating the legs, and then taking it slow as you fold forward. You're not married to the idea of the shape. You're married to the idea that we can open wherever we're at right now. And coming on up. And then taking both legs to the front. Lie back. Shavasana time. If there's anything else your body is craving, anything else you need, of course take it. This will be just a brief 2.5 minute Shavasana, but you should stay as long as you like. Enjoy it. If you're still with me, come back to your breathing. Introduce life back into your toes and your fingers. Taking a slow stretch overhead like this is a new beginning to your day. And it is. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock around a little bit. Enjoy the feeling. This move I'm doing is for my SI joints. They get a little tricky, and this is just a physical therapy movement that I have found helps. And in time, come back up to your seat. Join hands at your heart. Namaste. Thank you for watching.